Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Advance. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we'll give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got another video about Kawhi Leonard, but before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel. So as you guys know, Kawhi Leonard had been my favorite player for quite some time, going all the way back to like 2017. The simple reason Kawhi became my favorite player was because he seemed to be kind of a disciple of Kobe Bryant, so to speak. I remember the All-Star weekend when Greg Popovich said he told Kobe to just kind of get in the ear of Kawhi, talk to him, start to kind of take him, and from that point forward, you began to witness a drastic change in Kawhi Leonard's game, right? Added a post-up game, mid-range game, and I'm like, wow, well, this guy's reminding me of Kobe because Kobe's on his way out, and you're a Kobe guy, so, okay, reminds you of Kobe, And obviously, Kawhi Leonard was an excellent player. He wasn't Kobe Bryant, but he had the kind of similar playing style of Kobe, Jordan, whatever. Didn't have the flair and all of that. But anyway, so I was supporting Kawhi with the Spurs. Then he got to the Raptors. They won the championship. It was awesome. Then he got to the Clippers, and I thought that year in the bubble they were going to win. And to be fair, out of those 7 games, Kawhi Leonard played excellently. Paul George was playing like total ass cheeks throughout that entire series. And then what happened was on game 7, Kawhi Leonard had a bad game, and then Paul George had another ass cheek game that day. And then it was all she wrote. And then from that point on, it's just been utter disappointment with injuries and then coming back, and he's going to play, gets injured in the playoff. Kawhi Leonard got injured in the playoffs 2 years in a row. I think 2 years in a row. And then just after a while, it's like, bro, I can't do this no more, man. I just can't do it. He'll miss a bunch of games and he'll come back and he was like, he's here for good. And next thing you know, he's out 2 more games. I'm like, I just can't do it. And in the midst of all of that, this was also hurting Kawhi Leonard's reputation because people were saying that this guy is the king of load managing. And some people say it's because of his injuries. And then because of this kind of aloof attitude where he doesn't really like to speak to the media and all of that, that didn't really help. And then this lawsuit broke this summer, last few weeks or whatever, that Pablo Torre unearthed, where he dropped this bombshell of potential salary cap circumvention by the Clippers. You all know the story, and they were alleging that Steve Ballmer basically put money into this company, Aspiration, as an investment to use it as a conduit to pay Kawhi Leonard. And then there was some stuff in his contract where he was said that he didn't need to do anything, essentially just sit there and collect checks. And there was another story that broke that really startled me, and I think a lot of NBA fans. And I'm like, this just can't be true. So a day ago, Sideline Sources posted something that absolutely floored me, right? And I want to show you guys the headline here. It says, "This situation is insane." It says, breaking. In 2022, Kawhi Leonard played in only 26% of games due to right knee stiffness before the reported $1.75 million delayed payment was made by Aspiration. The day after it was deposited, Leonard went on to play 82% of the Clippers' remaining games to close out the season. And you see they have the image there. And I'm like, okay. So I went to Pablo Torre's video to kind of watch him talk about it, but it was like a slow burn. It was taking so long for them to really get to the meat and potatoes of it. So luckily I came across an article from ESPN that kind of covered this thing. So it just says, report Kawhi Leonard paid after Clippers partners investment. And I'm not going to read the entire article. I'm just going to read the pertinent bits. It says, a limited partner with the Clippers reportedly sent nearly $2 million to a now bankrupt company that allegedly gave Kawhi Leonard an endorsement deal for a no-show job less than 10 days before the star forward was paid $1.75 million by the company. The podcast Pablo Torre Finds Out reported on Thursday. The company, Aspiration, reportedly agreed to a $28 million endorsement with Leonard in 2021. Clippers owner Steve Ballmer invested $50 million through his personal LLC in September 2021, and the Clippers announced a $300 million partnership with Aspiration 2 weeks later. Torre reported that Leonard agreed to a 4-year, $28 million endorsement deal in April of 2022, 9 months after he re-signed with the Clippers. On Thursday, Torre reported that Dennis Wong, a Clippers limited partner, invested $1.99, let's say $2 million into Aspiration 9 days before the company made a $1.75 million payment to Leonard. The payment to Leonard was late, according to the payment schedule, as the company was reportedly having financial troubles before ultimately declaring bankruptcy. The NBA is investigating whether Ballmer and the Clippers violated league rules because Leonard accepted the deal. On Wednesday, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver said it would be up to the NBA to prove wrongdoing by the Clippers. And then it goes on to say what the commissioner had to say. That you guys can go read the rest of that article and hunt it down for yourselves. Right? So essentially what this article is, this story is alleging, is that prior to these guys making the payment, Kawhi Leonard only played 26% of the games. The moment that they made that payment of $1.75 million, he then went on to play 82% of the remaining games of the season, essentially saying that Kawhi Leonard said, okay, if y'all not going to pay me, I'm not going to play. If y'all are not going to pay me the money owed to me, I'm not going to. This is what this news is alleging. And really, they're now kind of trying to come after the integrity of Kawhi Leonard, where it's like this entire thing is just one big money grab. And if you're not paying me my money, I'm not playing the sport. And that now opens up a door to something much worse, right? Which is now we're talking about the love of the game. Why do these guys really play basketball? And all of that. And Kawhi Leonard and like other people, they've lumped him into boats, like people like Ben Simmons and other way people say, oh, these guys are stealing money. He's in that boat, according to in the minds of many NBA fans. He just is. And I'm not going to be up here defending Kawhi Leonard because I'm not tone deaf. You got to understand, even people in our audience, you can't be tone deaf to these things. You can't be the guy coming, oh, no, Kawhi's not. At a certain point, people don't want to hear it, and you have to be able to read the room at a certain point, right? So this seems to be the reputation that Kawhi Leonard has, and I just hope that this isn't true for his sake, right? I hope it isn't true for his sake, because if it is true, then our worst fears about Kawhi Leonard are coming true. Hence the reason we titled the show this way. They're coming true, that this guy really doesn't love basketball. He's just there to collect a check. And when you now hear stories like this and you think about the stuff that Stephen A. Smith says about him and all of that, then it opens up the doors to these kind of conversation and this type of speculation about this guy. Right now, I don't think Kawhi Leonard is a bad guy, but I don't know Kawhi Leonard. I don't know anything about this stuff. I don't know what happens behind closed doors. I don't know any of this. I don't know any of what's being alleged here, if it's true or not. I don't know. I guess ultimately, after the investigation is concluded by the NBA, we'll ultimately find out if some wrongdoing had occurred here. But in the meantime, from a reputational standpoint, this is absolutely hurting Kawhi Leonard. It's absolutely hurting him. There's no question about it, because people are already skeptical about the guy. And you have stories like this surfacing, it really doesn't help. These are my thoughts. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comments section. We catch you guys on the next show. Peace.